All right, everybody. Welcome back to Daily DVR. It's Monday, I think. I don't know what day it is. What the hell do I know? I'm just like making food and doing laundry and taking care of kids and driving a basketball all my life. Watching television so I can talk about it with Andy. We're here today. A very special pod. Of course, check us out, dvrpodcast.com. Become a patron. We have a new patron because people are really into Mayor of Kingstown this year, Ando, which we're covering. And
it's a great season of television.
It's so fun. And Alex is our new friend of the pod. Alex, Tracy recently became a friend of the pod. Sherry, RT, Amber, Dave, Zori, Angie, Nancy, Heather. A lot of people joining, free and friend. It doesn't matter. We love all of you. Thank you. Go to patreon.com/DVR, covering Mayor of Kingstown now. Pretty soon, just talking with Andy, we're going to be covering Night of the Seven Kingdoms, me and Gina. I'm going to try to get someone to cover Hijack with me. And there's something else I want to cover too. Lots of TV. But today, we have a special guest. Here's Andy's here, though. Say hi, Andy.
Hello, everyone.
Andy doesn't get.
Everybody's heard plenty of me. Let's get to our guest.
We don't get special introductions. We have a special guest here from the Tower of Babel podcast. I'm a longtime listener, our longtime friend. He's been on many, many shows before. Julian is here. Julian, how are you doing?
Hey guys, good. It's good to be here. Always nice to come back to Daily DVR. Always appreciate the invites. Things are good. It's Christmas season, right? It's officially started snowing here in Canada.
Nice.
And my dog's loving that. I just got a Christmas tree. I'm a little blown away by how much a Christmas tree costs these days, but that's in some ways tangentially related to what we're going to be talking about today. So
it is.
I'm excited. I mean, I never pass up the opportunity to bemoan capitalism. So
thank you.
Here we go. I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Yes. So what we're going to talk about today is the proposed Netflix, Warner Brothers / now hostile takeover by Paramount to take over Warner Brothers. We're going to kind of go around about it. I think we all pay attention to this stuff. I'm not an expert on finances or business, but I definitely have my opinions about what these different corporations may represent, what this may mean to us as consumers and viewers. But I do think Julian started off in the right place, which is to say, I think we can all agree that media consolidation, billionaires, Trump, the Ellisons can all suck a donkey's balls. Okay? We all agree on this.
That's much softer than the normal version of that saying.
Yes. I was trying to be nice. We're a podcast. I don't want to get to, there might be children listening. We don't like any of these things. Personally, I don't think any of us do, because it spells the doom or the not good favors for artists and creators, right?
That's right.
And and
consumers,
people.
Which I don't love to call people consumers, but like
True.
The people who watch this stuff, it's just not, it's not good for them either. It's really only good for rich people.
Yes.
And I am anti-rich people at this point. I'm becoming more radicalized to being a billionaire hater every day, basically. Yeah.
I love that. To me, this goes back to my central tenets of when I was learning about journalism, media literacy, media consolidation when I was in high school, and then when I was in college at Rutgers University, where that was the main focus of the journalism program, was speaking about the loss of freedom of speech and ideas and diversity with media consolidation and money and how money controls the media. I used to have my friend Lou made a picture on my dorm room door, which was like like the crucifixion. And then it had a bunch of like people looking up, and they had like little cameras. It was a really great picture too. And then it said, "The media is a business." That was, he did that one time on my door. Now I didn't ask him to do it, but that was our mindset. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to go off on this too much, but I only say that to say, you said it right, Julian. The reason we're here debating about we need to save theaters or what happened to films or what's going on with all these big companies is because this media consolidation began a long time ago, mostly in the early 80s, but then continued under both parties of government. Both Democrats and Republicans are pro-media consolidation. So Clinton did it, Reagan did it, Obama did it, Trump is doing it. Now Trump is extorting people in full view of the world, and people just don't give a shit. That's a whole nother subject we're not going to get too much into. But it does make your stomach turn while you're watching it happen. I'm sure you guys can agree with that. It's not fun to see that happening along with this.
Well, yeah, and I don't know, how about like, there's also the news today that Paramount is launching like a rival
hostile takeover,
and that like the Larry Ellison of it all is also really gross. I mean, or David Ellison, I guess. Sorry, not Larry.
Well, both of them.
Any of the Ellisons, yeah. But like, it's all a mess. I mean, ultimately, this is another symptom of the death of antitrust regulation and law, especially in the United States, but basically everywhere. To a lesser degree in Europe, but there's just without there being guardrails in a capitalist system, this is the logical conclusion to any market. And unfortunately, the truth of the entertainment industry, as it is a market industry, is that it is especially, I think, at risk to this because of its public-facing nature, and how lucrative it is to own media.
Yeah,
so
it's part of the political process as well. You can use it to,
propaganda.
Yes,
propagandize. Yes,
use it.
And so it's bad. It's just bad left and right. So I don't even know which angle to like, because you could look at this from a billion angles.
We'll go in. I just wanted to start that in the beginning because it's important to say that, right? Like, that's not going to be the gist of most of what we're going to talk about, but I think it's important to start there because it's not. We may argue, like, I may want Netflix to buy Warner Brothers, but I still think that sucks ass. Right?
Yeah, I mean, reminds me of the remember when Disney bought Fox?
Yes.
And everyone's like, "Oh, this is so exciting because now Marvel will have access to all of its characters and yada 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 yada," and or not like all but Spider-Man. And I remember thinking, even at that time, that like it was like, this is bad. We don't want Disney owning more stuff. And now it's like, and in parallel to that, all that happening since then, it's just been this David Zaslav train of death, basically, at Warner Brothers. It got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
All under the guise of maximizing
profit for this to happen,
for like shareholder profits. And I this isn't necessarily a leverage buyout in the traditional sense that we've seen in some other ways, but I just need to say, and I will say it as many times as I have to in any forum, the leverage buyout concept is a broken concept. It fundamentally breaks industry. It breaks markets, and I think, and it is, it's a net negative for everyone except for the people getting rich off of it, and that's a very select few people, including, by the way, for society. So, like, there's just no way that we should ever be allowing people to borrow money to buy something and then putting that debt onto the thing that you bought. It does not. It breaks fundamental, like, common sense.
There's many. I totally agree with you, and this is disturbing in many different ways. For us,
I just wanted to say. I know that. I just wanted to say.
No, I'm glad you said it because it's good to get
sucks.
the word out there, man. Hey, look, I am a person who has very strong opinions about this stuff, and especially when it comes to what you talked about, guardrails on capitalism and the market, and at least having the opportunity for, there was a time when people at least considered things like that, right? Let's talk about them. Let's consider them. Let's not just sell the kids for food. But we are doing that. Ando, do you have anything to say?
Where do I even begin? I think not a good thing about this, but one thing about this is this is so public. This is happening everywhere to everything. Like in my day job is agriculture, and that's been going on in the agriculture industry for years and years and years. And there's so few companies controlling everything. So one at least thing about this that I like is that it's actually being exposed to people, and people are paying attention to this. Most people, unless you're involved, I'll just use my example. And if you're involved in the agriculture industry, you have no idea what's going on behind this stuff. Like I said, it's happening. So I at least this is out in the public, and people are paying attention to it. Not that, I mean, it's bad, and bad for a number of reasons we can get into, I think. But I don't even know where to begin, because like you guys have said, there's so many different angles and so many different things. I mean, in a lot of ways, like the Netflix versus Paramount, it says which one is the lesser of two evils almost conversation, which it always is on a buyer, because like if WB doesn't get bought by these two, it would get bought by Comcast, or it would get bought because Zaslav came in and his whole thing was to make the company profitable and sell it off. That was their whole goal. It's not
profitable.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Or make it appear to be profitable. And
that's
sell it for
movie
parts.
Biz. That's the biz.
I mean, there's no question WB had one of the best box office years of all time. So of course he's going to try and sell it now when it's at a value that an appeared value. Maybe it's not a true value, but
yes,
it appears to have the most value now.
Market value.
I will say this: Warner Brothers as a studio, as a business, under the I guess quote unquote guidance of David Zaslav, from the outside appears to be an absolute train wreck. It just there, the HBO Max to Max back to HBO Max thing is a great like exemplar of that. Like it's just like how, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna merge with Discovery, and then we're gonna split from Discovery, and it's like, what are we doing here? Like who is this helping? In the process, artists are being laid off, theaters are struggling. I could continue the list of all the kind of non-directly related things to that is like a symptom of these same problems. But like it is so tone deaf to the reality of making anything. You can't make money in the entertainment business if you're not making anything. And if you're laying everyone off left and right, it's going to be hard to make things. Wow. So I just find this whole thing to be disingenuous. Like, yes, it is nice that it's happening all under the scrutiny of daylight, but like, is it though? How much is it really happening under the scrutiny of daylight?
Well,
because
obviously, there's tons of stuff behind the scenes. I'm just saying that at least this one we can actually, it's putting this type of situation on people's radars. Which most of the time it is not.
I'm going to agree with Andy there. I think it's good. That's like when I think like, there was a time when anytime there was any type of business or merger, the president or politicians would not comment upon that, right? Because that is a separate issue and there's legalities involved. They don't want to sway anyone. Of course, now we're in a totally different situation. People seeing that, I think, is important. I think people witnessing this rampant abuse of power and also this just rampant capitalism of everything's about selling and putting things, and what we really care about, what do people really care about? The films, the television shows, the music, the art, the stories, the characters that they can empathize with, align with on whatever values they have, enjoy, have fun, entertainment, right? But it's more than that, because like Julian was saying, we're saying before, there's a lot of power that's involved in it. Now, I do want to start. We've been talking about where we're going to start. I want to start somewhere, which is this. My main concern on this is where I come from, and I think for you guys to talk about is interesting, because I know you two are both big theater people. You support the theaters. You support the industry of the theaters. To me, I really have little concern for theaters. I really do. I have very little. Actually, I have almost zero concern for theaters in this whole thing that's happening.
Why?
Okay, because I think theaters will survive either way. I'm not anti-theater. I'm actually in kind of a theater renaissance. I've been to a lot of movies lately.
Will they survive either way? That's what I mean. Isn't that the
that's
question?
I think it is the question, but I think it's a different question, because what theaters do, having another distributor production house that
but
has
this isn't a new distributor. This is the same distributor.
No, that's what I'm losing that, right? Having a new for that stuff is what I meant. I said it wrong.
Okay.
Right? For Warner Brothers, that may be a person that already exists limits it. I understand that. Or taking it away from them, giving it to someone like Netflix. You say they're not going to release as many films in the theater. And when I looked at the slate of films that Warner Brothers has released, it's a very long list. I was actually surprised at the number of films and the diversity of films, not just big blockbusters, but there's good dramas in there.
The last couple of years, they've had a great run.
Yeah, they had a lot of good. So my feeling is that consolidation has been happening for so long that my concern is streaming and HBO. I think that's where more things are going to be shown. I think that's where more things are going to be made. More people are going to be involved behind the scenes, in front of the camera, behind the camera. That's why I am more concerned with that, because I think the theater thing will work itself out and is already having major issues due to the consolidation and the fact that the only thing that gets released in theaters is big blockbusters. There's no room for the adult drama, the comedy, the romance, anything else in theaters. Actually, the biggest thing hitting theaters is shit that's on streaming, like K-pop Demon Hunters or Stranger Things.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that's the bit of the cart before the horse, because
explain, because
theaters are struggling. It's true, but I find it hard to picture a scenario where a company whose explicit goal is Netflix. Just to be clear, Netflix doesn't believe in the theatrical experience.
Yes.
They don't believe in it.
They're on record saying it's over.
That's right, over and over again. They're like it's outdated. It's who needs it. Everyone just wants to stay at home and watch movies at home. So anything that like continues that vision for them is successful. So buying one of the largest film producers that puts movies, that does believe in the theatrical experience, I just think there's just no way that results in theaters being better off than they are now. And where they are now is not good.
Well, I understand.
That. There's lots of problems.
But
I just don't.
I'm just saying, if Warner Brothers isn't releasing these films and Netflix decides to put them on streaming, even though Netflix has also said in the past, we're not doing ads, we're not doing live, we're not doing sports.
You can't believe a single thing that they say.
They do
that,
what? Yes, this is about the money.
Exactly. You can't. A corporation's promise is worthless.
I agree. I 100%
agree. They're like, oh, we can't afford to have you share passwords, but we can afford to spend how many billions of dollars to buy?
Oh, I
Warner
agree
Brothers?
With you, Julian. I'm not going to disagree with you there. So and I don't like their anti-theater stance either. I'm not anti-theater. Not at all. I just think it's a different problem. And I also think if you don't have big blockbuster films from Warner Brothers released in theaters, perhaps it hastens a change to theaters, maybe going back to releasing some smaller movies.
Okay, maybe, but
who's going to make those and release them that way?
Yeah,
everybody wants to. Everybody that's making those,
and you and a hard drive.
But think about this though: you still have to have the distribution deals. Like for example, on HBO this last week, they dropped the sequel to Brothers McMullen. 20 years ago, that would have been released into a theater. Now the streamers can buy that up and release those small things for cheap. Why would they bother with all the expense of sending out the hard drives to people and sending out the projection? And
right. But what's wrong with that though? More people are going to be able to see it. The purpose of making any visual product is for people to watch it. So whether they watch it in a theater or on television, they're watching it.
Right. So people have been trained to see the theatrical experience as something that is reserved for the big blockbusters.
Well, that's
You know,
what
the
it's
things that
become over
Right,
our
but that-
lifetime. It wasn't
but
always like that.
To be fair, we've been trending in that direction since Jaws. So,
yes, of course.
you know,
You're 100% correct. Yes.
So yeah, of course, in the modern era where modern televisions are pretty good and you know people have got 4K sets and all that kind of stuff. I love my TV. You know, I have a 4K LG OLED and I love it. You know, no shame there. But it's
No
not a
shame
movie
in that
theater,
game.
right? It's not a movie theater. The more that you nudge people further towards streaming only, it reduces choice, which makes it just bad for consumers, and B, it puts another nail in the theatrical coffin. And I don't know, can't remember who it was, if it was Spielberg or it was somebody else who had said that they envisioned that the future of theatrical was similar to like going to a play or going to see the opera.
Yeah, I've been saying this forever.
That's bad.
Yeah,
We don't
I've been
know.
saying this
That's
forever.
not good. That is not good.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but
I'll tell you why.
Why would you want to spend $80 to go see a movie?
Andy.
Bullshit.
Andy,
I'll tell you why. I'll
say.
tell you why that's bad. And I was going to bring this quote up too, Julian. Yeah, it was Lucas and Spielberg in a joint interview said this.
Okay.
And if you're getting charged $80, movie theaters are one of the. Even though yes, it still costs a lot of money to go to a theater, it's still one of the things that people that aren't super rich can go to and experience together. And it's not spending $100 to go to an NFL game. It's not $80 to go see UFC or $100 to see a Broadway show. It's a communal experience that you don't have to be making $200,000 a year to go to it more than once or twice a year. You can go,
like Shakespeare.
Families can do it. Yes. I mean, and the more you make it just an event picture or an event film or the Avenger. I mean, I love Avengers movies more than just about anyone, but if that's all that's in there, there's only going to be 3 or 4 of those a year, and theaters will have to charge $100 a ticket to even stay open because with so few films coming in,
and they will die.
Yes,
they won't be able to justify that.
Yep,
you'll have one theater per city if you're lucky.
Well,
there's no way to have the business there.
Or would you have, instead of 4 big box multiplex 3D shaken seats bullshit, you have 5 really small, not that much bigger than your own TV, right? Where someone can
you're making this is not a good, you're not selling this well, Axel.
Why? I'm not saying it's going to happen.
The art house theater exists. It exists in a niche now. And
it's not that niche. There's a lot more than, I think there's a lot more than we think, even in small communities and stuff that, you know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing is that your vision of that future, or the vision we're talking about,
it's probably a bit.
It ultimately is the death of theaters in most cities. Most cities won't have any at all.
True. That's probably true.
And so
it's sad, but it's probably true.
And I get that it's like, oh well, it's outdated or old fashioned. It's not outdated and old fashioned to watch stories together as a group. That is a
experience.
You're right. You know what? I agree with you. But you know what did die that I loved? Video stores. I worked at a video store for many years. I worked at Blockbuster, and then I worked at one of the best video stores ever.
There's a difference, though, between the death of video stores and the difference of this. With a video store, you were still coming home and having the same experience of watching it at home.
Right. That just cut the middleman out.
With a theater.
No, I'm not just. Yes, I agree.
I totally
with you,
agree.
Andy.
I have business video stores, too.
I agree with you. I'm just using that as an example of something that is part of the film and television consumption universe that has changed. That's all I'm saying, right? Like for me, when I remember back in the day when they were suing all the cigarette companies and they were talking about what a cigarette is, and they called it a nicotine injection system, right? To me, a theater, your phone, your television, your laptop is a visual art injection system.
It is reductive,
right?
though, to do that.
I understand
they're not created equal.
I understand that. And look, as a creator myself, I've made stuff. And the thought I would have wanted people to see something on a bigger screen, or if at first when people were watching like 2001 on their phone, I was like, this is heresy. What are you doing? You're awful. And then you find out like I've said many times on this show, that Stanley Kubrick, once he realized that most people were going to watch his films on television, he double framed all of them so he could decide they couldn't pan and scan him. You know what I'm saying? And then he did it himself. So all I'm saying is that to cry that Netflix taking over Warner Brothers is the death of theaters and our world is going to end.
It's just another step in the wrong direction.
But I don't know if that's true, because Netflix has shown that they are, one, a very international company, two, a company that is willing to throw money at artists and allow them to create
but not theatrical. That's the thing. They'll do all those things. That's fine.
Hey, but we don't know that yet. We don't. Hey, they did a shitty job when they tried to stream that boxing match with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, right? And then they did a shitty job. They did Love Is Blind live. Now they regularly can do live shit, and it looks good. They're going to do an NFL game, right? All I'm saying is I don't wholly disagree with you guys, because I couldn't sit here as a podcaster about TV and film without agreeing with you. Come on. You know what I'm saying? You're right. I want theaters to survive. There's still a lot of... There's just a change that maybe we don't understand. And I just think I think it's reactive to get mad at Netflix and say they hate theaters. They might end up saving theaters.
I've been mad at Netflix for a while for that same reason. To be clear, this is not a new phenomenon. And also,
I don't get mad at them for that. It doesn't bother me.
They were in the process of, at some point, I don't know if it was last year, they were at one point, hovering around the idea of purchasing like AMC or something like that was in financial trouble.
Yeah, Netflix theaters.
And so this is just everything. Time is a flat circle, because we can't. The old Hollywood system was an integrated system where the studios owned the theaters, and that was broken
and
out.
The stars
and trust,
right? And the lots
exactly.
And
so the more power you give these
these
individual production or these companies, Disney, Netflix.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but it's going to happen though.
Is given to every other player, including the theaters, including the actors, including the directors, which by the way, all of the basically every single SAG and all of them.
I know they
all
hate
the unions. They're all like, this is bad for us. And I've become a more and more pro union as time goes on.
I've always been pro. I'm good. I'm glad to hear these turns you're taking, Julian. This is
well, I mean, I was never anti-union, but I've spent a lot of time
all of it
from people in my life who talk crap about unions a lot. And it's like, you can't fire anyone, you can't fire bad people, yada yada yada. And that that's Jimmy like a symptom of a problem. I'm not saying that they're perfect, but I will say this: I have only worked in private sector where I've never had unions, and under the current trajectory that we're on now, I am underpaid. I have less of a financial security for my retirement. And anything I do have is owed to unions, and we haven't done crap about it since. And it's been 30, 40 years of this. So this is just another, I am 100%. If I sound angry, it's because I am. This is just another wrinkle in this bigger, larger problem, which is that if you do not constrain capitalism, it will hurt everyone.
Yeah,
everyone.
Well, it's already doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
I love this conversation. I love everyone who went. I want to ask you a question. So,
are you going to go off the theater thing? I want to say one other thing.
No.
Thing
go ahead, Andy.
Okay, the one thing that makes me nervous, and I'm the disappearing of theaters things. I'm kind of obviously in the same boat as Julian here, and one of the things that Sarando said after this news came out was he said we're not going to and like I said, you can't trust what they say. And it was something to the effect of we're still going to release the WB things in theaters, but with a shortened window.
Yeah.
To me, that means, okay, if you're only going to have it in for 3 weeks, what's going to stop you from doing it for 1 weekend?
They released...
Andy, they're going to release it in New York and Los Angeles for 5 days so it can get Academy Award consideration.
When Dune 3 comes out, I want to go see it in a movie theater. I don't want to have to drive 2 hours to go see it at a limited engagement and some
Well, good luck you that at least you're close enough that you can do that. I can't even do that. Half the time, if it's lucky, they'll do a limited release. It might be in Toronto, maybe Vancouver.
Yeah, I'll get them sometimes in Minneapolis, which is about a 2-hour drive from me.
Yeah,
so,
there's just no way. And so, like, my city already lost our IMAX screen, so I now have to drive 5 hours to the nearest
but
IMAX
can I
screen.
just listen? I really empathize and sympathize, both. They're different, with what you're saying. But I have this question to ask you. Does the alternative, which is we know the suitors for Warner Brothers are Netflix.
Is Paramount worse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paramount. Not only No. It's not just Paramount. It's Paramount with Jared Kushner and a consortium
that's much worse.
of Saudi
we don't want
investors.
The Saudi money. Yeah.
You're right. We don't want the Nazis and the terrorists getting it. It's true.
Now, next up, Comcast, which is NBC Universal, which is actually quite liberal for them, and is probably not a fan of this administration, and as a result has almost been seen as not even a factor in what's going on. They're not even
allowed,
right?
They're not allowed to win.
Yeah, they're not going to get this. But actually,
the game is rigged.
They would be a very good. For me, I think they might be a good middle.
Here's a crazy idea. Warner Brothers was a sustainable business for almost 100 years. Why don't we just run the business as a functioning business, and we don't need to, and it doesn't need to be bought by anyone? How about that? What about that crazy idea?
You know what's interesting is that is actually the plan for half the company, right? Because we kind of buried the lead. We got into it, but I think people know what's going on, which is that we're talking about the theater and streaming assets, the TV assets, which include like CNN and all those other cable.
I have a handy graphic in front of me here. So
that's going to be spun off into its own company.
Yeah, Warner Bros, DC Studios, Warner Bros Television, Warner Bros Games, HBO Max, New Line
everything
Cinema,
you like,
TNT Sports, and the Olympics coverage, I guess. Yeah, everything that people actually care about. And then what Paramount is trying to do, which is to do a hostile takeover, which means they would take over everything. That would also include Discovery, HGTV, CNN,
all the Turner stuff,
Discovery Plus, NHL Network, etc.
Yes.
So
as some are bemoaning, if Netflix gets it, they'll control too much shit. But if Paramount gets it, they won't control too much shit. So the point is, somebody is going to control too much shit. So it's really like, now there is another...
Pick your poison?
Yeah, there are a couple of other things that could happen. And that because of the hostile takeover, the way the government... You never know, which is that someone else could come out of the woodwork, some rich person, even somebody could step in, like, I doubt it, but like Apple or something like that, which
they were involved at some point.
Yeah, they were for a little while. Yeah, they were. There was reports that they put a bid in or something. But
Apple would be an interesting. Apple would make sense to me because they have deep pockets and they don't have entrenched to the same level as Netflix.
Well, and they've actually tried to do theatrical releases. Yeah. So
yes,
they would.
And by the way, I think it's really important to note this on the theatrical thing. Sorry to interrupt, but theatrical is a money making avenue. People make money in theatrical, good money. To kill theatrical is to kill golden goose, maybe the bronze pooping goose. I don't know. Like it's making good money.
Yes, that's true.
It's sustainable.
True. Yeah,
to release movies in theaters is a sustainable business model. It does not have to be killed so that Netflix can prove that they were right about streaming.
No, I don't think I agree with that too. That is a good point too. But unfortunately, I think as we have discussed many times in this we've mentioned many times in this conversation, not everything is done because it makes sense. And I think it's just like you said, Julian, which is
you live in a world where nothing makes sense.
Yeah. Why run this company simply to try to sell it? Why do you have this company? What was there ever a time when people running a studio like Warner Brothers actually cared about film, actually cared about the industry? And the answer is yes.
Kind of. Yeah.
The answer is definitively yes. This is industry in which the people who run it have cared about it, and where people have laid down millions of dollars for the sake of art and for the sake of making something that they think eventually will make them more money. But that is always part of the business. It's right. It's the show business, as they say. You always have to take it into account. But then I ask you, I'm going to ask Julian first, then we'll ask Andy. You don't like Netflix. Who do you want to buy this? Is what you want them to go back to?
Listen, it's not my job to solve, to answer.
Yeah,
that.
but I'm asking you, what would if it was announced today? What announcement? A part of something would you like it to be Paramount over Netflix?
No. I don't. Paramount. The thing is, what I see happening here as the most likely outcome is that the Ellisons, who are in tight with the Trump administration, will do everything they can to stall and stop this Netflix deal, and then in the process leverage the weight of the American government to essentially gift wrap Warner Brothers and its assets to a friendly oligarch, essentially. So no, the outcome here to me is it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. To me, the only good story that you could tell me out of this would be that they were going to go independent. If they're like, we're actually going to go become a private business again.
Right. Like George Clooney, Brad Pitt, all these guys got together, United Artists, and decided to buy the studio themselves. I would love that too. I agree with you on that. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I don't want Netflix to have HBO. I don't think the best place in the world for The Wire to be is on Netflix, which is if they figure out that people aren't watching it, they just take it off the fucking service. You know what I'm saying?
To be fair, so does HBO. They do the same.
They all do this now. They all physical media, right?
It's actually such a broken promise. It was like, hey, have access to our entire library. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, but
pay
this amount of money. We all knew.
And then it was like, oh, actually, we don't actually want to pay the creators of that so you can watch it. So we're just gonna essentially make it impossible to find. We're not going to create. We're not going to make physical copies of anything.
But that's an old story too. They've been doing that to books, DVD, like CD. You know what I mean? Like music.
Yeah, and literacy is at an all-time low.
Not good.
So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's only bad news. I don't have a. I would prefer this or that. I prefer that none of this happened. That's my answer.
I dig it. Ando.
Well, I mean, if you're just talking about these two and not Amazon coming in or Apple coming in or, like I say, going independent or something, even though the theater thing is very important to me, I probably would still take Netflix just like actually the shows and the movie aspect of it. One of the things that I think it was Ellison or one of those guys had said is that his goal for Paramount was to turn it into more middle of the road mainstream consumer stuff.
Look at the shit they can't just recently canceled and what they
that's where HBO ends up going. I mean, not that I'm a huge fan of like The Chair Company or those kind of shows, but I want those shows to exist. Even though I'm not a huge fan of those, I want those to be able to exist. And if those are at Paramount, odds of those type of shows ever being greenlit are not going to happen. Netflix, as many bad things there is about that company, they do have some weird shit on there and some things that other places aren't going to make.
Yeah.
So just looking at it from that point of view, I would say Netflix just because of that point of view, even though the theater thing really pisses me off and it really makes me nervous. As far as actual content, I would probably say Netflix.
And you know what? I want to say this, Andy. Of course, I like your answer, but I also want I want to play a little devil's advocate here, which is I'm not so convinced that the Ellisons are anything but sharks. And when Gavin Newsom is president in 3 years, they're not sucking his dick. You know what I'm saying? So
they want to make money.
Yeah, I don't know that they want to make money, right? That's what they want to do. So
I challenge that.
Okay, no, I'm not.
Sorry.
I can see where you're coming. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I get that. I'm not saying this is what you believe. Yeah. I'm just saying that I think that is there used to be a time where business operated around just whatever is best for the business. We don't exist in that world. These mega rich people, these billionaires, play this game for their own personal gain and for political power. Yeah. So it's not in a vacuum. This is not just, oh, well, it's good for business to own Warner Brothers, because that's A, not even proven to be true, and B,
well, I agree more likely with you.
Yeah, they also want they want to own, if it was up to them, right-wing media would be the only media. And so they can just continue to spew their propaganda. And ultimately that's all this is for them. That's what it is for Paramount.
I'm going to agree with you insofar as this. I don't think that a Ellison-owned HBO would make Somebody Somewhere. I don't think they would. And I think that the type of diversity that HBO has given us, diversity of thought, opinion, gender, religion, identity, birthplace, like worldview. They've done shows that are set in different countries. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, I do fear that would disappear under them, but I don't know. And I also want to say that these are two fucking stupid tech bros. They don't know how to run a fucking studio. This thing could crash and burn in less than a year. You know what I mean? They could everything could go bomb down the hill. That it doesn't mean they're going to be successful.
Part of the reason I think that there's still hope for if the Ellisons did acquire this, or if Paramount did, is they gave $250 million to Trey and Matt from South Park.
That's what I'm saying.
And they are, I mean, they're as anti-Trump as you can get.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they've got like they have an ironclad contract. But
that extension was just gave them like last summer or something.
Make money.
So it's, and because they make them a shitload of money.
But that's a certain point of view, though, Andy, right?
I know. I could see it going either way, but I don't think it's a complete loss, a complete like end of the world if they do get it. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, we're going to find out what happens, but I think there is a little ray of hope.
You know, I agree with you, Andy. I agree, right? Like, as some people would interject into this argument, other people who believe in different things, perhaps, or have different say, money is the great equalizer, right?
Sorry, I thought that was the root of all evil.
That's maybe what we think, but other people do say that. And I'm just bringing it up because sometimes I am surprised at these things, right? And even today, you have Trump saying Sarandos is a great guy, and they had a good conversation because he probably bought some of Trump Bitcoin or something like that, or you know what I mean?
He's a goddamn shill.
They got to pay the bill, right? They got to pay the piper, the troll, to get under the bridge. But you never know, is what I'm trying to say. You just never know.
No, that's true. You can't see the future. But
I will say this though, Andy. South Park is different than Euphoria. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
South Park. I'm just saying. I
think they follow the money. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
they follow the money.
They do follow the money, but the fringe gets cut off. You know what I'm saying? And that is what HBO was willing to not follow the money. And we're not even talking about their documentary series that they've done over time. They've done a lot of really
like I said, something like The Chair Company, they're not going to Paramount Plus is not going to greenlight that show. So, and part of me was just being the devil's advocate because I know right after that big South Park thing, they had a scathe. I mean, they went after Trump hard for like the next month, hardcore. Did. So I think it's because they're following the money there. So I think, and why they even allow them to still be on there. So and gave them that extension. So I don't know.
This
it's cynical either way.
Yeah, I mean it's a strange world out there. And,
okay, here's an angle.
Oh,
sorry, Axel.
No,
here's an angle.
I like it.
Let's step back from the business side of this for a second. Just from a pure content perspective, the ugly C word, I guess, but like the actual films, the actual stuff that they're making. I don't trust Netflix to make good decisions about that. I don't trust the stuff they make now. I really only like 3 things that they make.
I can't disagree with you there either. That's why I hope they keep the people at HBO. They don't fire them. I really hope that they see. I do think though that they are good at seeing the value in something, but we don't know. You're right. We really don't know. They have not done this before, right? They have been and what it might also mean, one thing that I was thinking about is we went through first Netflix came out and they had all content from other people. Then they started making more of their own content. Then these other companies decided we need to make our own streamers. So they pulled their content from Netflix and tried to bring it. And then we would have all these things like Harry Potter's now on HBO. Harry Potter's now back on Netflix. Yeah. The streaming wars, right? Now everybody's giving, for the past couple of years post-COVID strike, everybody's trying to make money by giving shit back to Netflix. Like there is a ton of HBO shit that's already on Netflix. There's a ton of Showtime shit that's on Netflix. There's a ton of everything that you would never expect on Netflix.
Well, as it relates to the streaming wars, this ultimately kills the streaming wars because there's how do you compete?
But this is my question. This is where I'm getting. If they own the Warner Brothers library,
right?
Do they then get to cut costs by saying, "Hey, guess what? Paramount, Showtime, we don't need Dexter on Netflix anymore. Fuck you. We're not buying anything from anybody anymore. We've made enough shows. We have Warner Brothers, their whole back catalog going back to what is it like? It's like pretty 20s. Far. And then guess what? We're not buying shit from anyone anymore, and that might actually be a good thing." Right? And then people...
is it? I don't know.
Well, because it might add value to people having to go to get something else.
Okay, so where does... Okay, so if Dexter's not on Netflix, where does it go?
Back to its original home where... Well, I don't know who actually made it, but I do
Right,
think...
but they're not going to... Who's going to build their own streaming service to compete with... Showtime's not going to have their own streaming service.
But they already did it. They have Paramount Plus.
Right. Okay.
And they have Peacock, and then they have other things. So I'm just saying,
and most of those are failures.
Well,
I mean,
I agree.
They're not successful.
You have Hulu, Disney is that's the other big.
Yeah. Right. You have Disney Plus,
and Apple.
Perhaps
Amazon
you're
Prime,
right. I was just trying to talk it out. Maybe that
Netflix.
didn't work.
I just it's like
just an idea I had. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right about that, but I don't know. I'm just trying to find some type of positive from it. Most likely, it would not be a positive.
Here's another thing. Like we talked briefly about how Netflix has kind of botched a lot of things, especially with creative stuff. They all also have. This is another devil's advocate thing, but in the last 10 years or so, they've given blank checks to Scorsese, Del Toro, Cuarón, Fincher, Rian Johnson.
That's the first thing I said. They've hand out money.
There's
to people.
a lot of big time. I mean,
and they don't fuck with them either. They let Martin Scorsese make something that's 80 years long with.
So I mean, there is some hope for optimism there, especially on the film side. There is some hope for. I mean, I'm mad too that they've canceled things before they should or whatever, and for sure. But I don't think it's all doom and gloom on the Netflix side.
Okay.
No, that's true. They have made some things that they like. It generally comes back to like that's great. I would have loved to have seen Roma in theaters. It's like. And it comes back to that. I saw Wake Up Dead Man. It played for 3 days.
Oh, nice. Did you like it? Just a side. I haven't seen it obviously yet. Is it good?
Yeah, I loved it.
Great.
I'm a big fan of all the Knives Out movies. I mean,
so am I.
Great.
Yeah, and Rian Johnson is a fan of theatrical distribution.
Yes,
I mean,
and he's fought tooth and nail, and all he got was 3 days.
Yeah, same thing with Frankenstein. Del Toro was only in for a week or so.
I didn't even get to see it in theaters.
I want to say something else because I think we're kind of maybe winding up a little bit. But one thing that I forgot to mention is this: we've talked about this on the show before. We live in a time where an individual's ability to make a film or television show is easier than it ever has been in the history of the universe. Now, we can include AI and shit that, like I was talking, I think, Andy, weren't we talking about the fucking 5 days I took to make a Homer donut go up and down on a song I wrote on a video I made? for the Simpsons movie, it was fucking. It took
Yes.
forever. I had to do it frame by motherfucking frame on Final Cut Pro 7, and you know what? You could do that now. I could ask the AI to do it, and they do it for me. But this has not caused any of these movies to be released in theaters.
Yes. No. Here's the thing.
Strange,
yes, it's
isn't
true
it?
that anyone can make a movie now, but the only people getting rich off of it are the people who are already rich.
That's
So-
what I'm saying. Is I hope, I just wish, my wish above all else, and that's why I thought it was so awesome that Nora won Best Picture, because that is a spirit of independent filmmaking. I don't care. I am not a person who cares about distribution or watching it in a theater or anything. I care about making motherfucking shit, and that people can make stuff easier and tell their stories easier. But it is hard when there's no place to show it. That would be my only hope. It's like Napster ruined popular music, right? Like pop music died in like 1999, 2000. Everything since is McDonald's. I mean, let's like Taylor Swift. It's McDonald's music. You know what I'm saying? There's no cultural relevance to it as there was previously that's the way I see it, unless you want to talk about fucking country music.
I mean,
or something.
I don't know how. Yeah, I mean,
I don't. That's the way
entirely fair to
popular,
say.
It's not the same thing, but you can go on the internet and you can find great music because it's so cheap and easy to make music.
Yes.
Is my point. Okay, so
Yes.
I got lost
It's
on a Taylor Swift
democratized.
hating,
You know, it's true.
but
I mean, the music industry was democratized.
That's what I'm saying.
And-
That's what I want for
but-
movies.
Okay,
and
but
TV.
what happened in that scenario? It basically became impossible for almost any new artist to make any money. So yes, there are still artists because people love to make music.
Well,
but
there's
it's very
YouTube.
few new artists that are able to.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
This is what I'm getting to. You're right. They have to go out, Julian. They have to try to sell it themselves. But we have YouTube, right? We have, look, all the stuff that's on TikTok is fake. All the stuff on Reel, like anything you see where somebody's like, I saw this guy down the street, he's yelling at his wife. And, you know, we've all seen these stupid videos. They're all acting. They're creating. They're making something. We were talking with Heath the other day about getting hired to be a background in someone's TikTok. Right, Ando? Like, that is change, and I just wanted to interject that thought that that's a whole nother element that we're kind of losing in that, which is like YouTube is really the biggest thing.
Oh, and I think that's where the
Self-made
ultra
shit,
independent film
you
stuff
know?
is going to go, because
Yeah.
you actually can make money
I like
on
that.
there.
That's a hope for me in a kind of a rather sad conversation about like less choice, you know?
Axel, we have a bunch of comments in the on the YouTube page.
Oh, okay, cool.
Joe Bear says it's all over with like 5 exclamation points. Get your popcorn buckets now, Solo. And our friends at Double P Media have been commenting quite a few, and there's some good ones here.
Okay.
If this kills all the Dexter spinoffs, let Netflix win. If Dexter's not on Netflix, where will it go? To the woods to be a lumberjack? See the new Batman in theaters before it leaves in 72 hours. Let's see. Better McDonald's music than Chick-fil-A's Christian children's spot. Uh-oh, they found the chat.
Listen, I know most of our listeners already listen to the Double P Podcast Network, Bubba and Catfish, but please subscribe to. They're covering Pluribus right now, and they are the funniest. I just love listening
great.
to them because they'll
They're
shred the show. They'll love it, and it's a great comedy. Have you been watching any of Pluribus, Julian?
Yeah, I'm a little behind. I think
Okay.
I'm 2 episodes behind, but I love Pluribus. I think it's a great show for our time.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. Well, listen, we've been chatting for like an hour on this. We can't solve the problems of the world, but I think we talked about a lot of interesting things, and I wanted to talk. And you guys made me think about this too, because like I said, I have my kind of preconceived notions or what I'm kind of like what I want to happen. but I am open to seeing what happens and also learning more about it because I do love the theater experience. I don't want it to go away. And I do think it's special. And like I've said a million times, one of the best experiences of my entire life was watching the opening night of Aliens in a theater in Long Beach Island with a bunch of sweaty people who had been at the beach all day and us freaking the fuck out watching that movie. It was the best. And it was packed. And you know what I'm saying? You're right, Julian. The being together with people, it takes us back to our primal roots of sitting around a fire and telling stories.
Yeah,
right?
The communal aspect is something you can never reproduce at home, ever.
Yeah, well, but sometimes you do that when you watch sports at a bar, or you watch a movie.
But
hey, we did it when we were here. We watched a Lost documentary together, right? Like
that's true, but it's still not the same as.
I agree.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah,
we all,
to an extent you can.
It shows how we all strive for it. That's what I mean. That's why I don't worry about theaters as much, because when I see the love that just you two motherfuckers have for this theater shit, it's like it's never going to go away. People love it. They're going to keep just like there's still used bookstores.
It won't go away on its own. It'll be killed. It'll be murdered in front of our eyes by those with entrenched interests. It's so yeah, no big deal. I've been a very Debbie Downer today. I do apologize about that.
I love it. It's all good stuff. All right, listen, this has been great. Any final words, Julian, or was that your final words?
No, I hope everyone has a lovely holiday season. While democracy still exists, support your politicians that support antitrust. That is something that you can do today. Antitrust regulation is designed to protect you and I from this garbage, and it has largely been stripped away since Reagan. So that's my big message. Have a lovely Christmas. Try not to think about the doom and gloom. That's my plan anyway. And I guess if you are so inclined, visit towerofbabel.ca. Subscribe to the podcast. We're going to be probably talking about this a little bit as well, but the show is in flux. We're changing a few things. We're going to be trying to do some more fun writing based stuff. My new co-host Matt is a writer.
Nice.
So we're going to try to do some things around that, and it kind of expanding the scope of the show, changing it up a bit. But yeah, it's exciting. It's fun to be. I took a couple months off, but it's good to be back behind the mic, and I appreciate you bringing me on, Axel. Thank you.
Yes, always, man. And I love that you're podcasting again. As soon as I saw that, I sent you a little note.
Yeah, I did. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, you're good at this, dude. So I like that you're still doing it. And that's like us. We're independent podcasters. There's the Ellisons aren't paying us. I did not get my Antifa check this month.
They tried to, and then they realized that there's no money in podcasting, and then they all left.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So it's about creation and love, and that. I mean, we're making something right now, right? That's the way I think about it. Ando, any final words?
Go to the movie theater this holiday season.
There you go.
Even if you're supporting Avatar, Zootopia, and Disney, just go to the movie theater. Keep those theaters in business. We need them.
There you go.
That's it.
All right. And I'm going to go to my local theater. Actually, I think I'm going to take Lachlan to see the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie because he was obsessed with that first movie. And I have to tell you something. I thought it was pretty good. I actually liked it. I thought it was it was weird. It was weird and fun. Like it had this emotional aspect. It's the Hutcherson kid. I like him.
You are a Hunger Games super fan.
Yeah, so. I am a Hunger. Even though
I am a little bummed. This is kind of exactly what I'm talking about. Like the Kill Bill, Whole Bloody Affair is out in theaters right now. I have to drive 2 hours if I want to go see it. I would love to be able to see that.
Till Thursday, I got to figure out how to do that. Hard to carve out 4.5 hours out of your day.
That's the problem.
Well,
God, I want to go see it. But
although I will say, bring intermissions back to movies. I've been saying that ever since I saw the 2001.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, I totally agree with you. Yeah, I went to see 2001, and there was an intermission again in a local theater here. Also, I do want to say one thing to both of you guys. If you want to be closer to a theater, you could just move. You could just
I'm not moving to Regina. I'm sorry.
Into your,
I'm not moving to
move your
Regina.
entire life to be closer to the theater.
And I couldn't send you all those cool farming pictures and the snowstorm blizzards and all that stuff. You would never get any of that.
I know it's a minor inconvenience, but it was just a suggestion. And Andy, please, one day you've got to take over the local theater so we can all move out there. And
I had a chance to take the manager spot on it it was back before COVID, so I'm sure it's changed a little bit. And the economics of running a theater are so razor thin and so hard to. That's a whole different podcast.
That would have been fun.
I wish I could have, and in a rural area, you have to program things like Zootopia too and Avatar and you could never put Kill Bill the Whole Bloody Affair here because you'd get 10 cinephiles to show up and you can't sell any popcorn that way. So that's a whole different, the economics of a movie theater. There's a reason why they charge so much for concessions, because they don't make anything on the movie themselves. The one guys that I've talked to are like, we're basically concession sellers. We're not really theater owners.
Well, you know what though? The popcorn's fucking good. Everybody likes movie popcorn, folks. Come on.
Yeah.
It's my favorite snack.
If you think you're spending too much on concessions, you're keeping that theater in your town by doing that.
Oh, we always do. We always buy. And you know what? Like I said, I have had in the past not enjoyed going to theaters because, as I've talked about before, I have some sensory issues. And the really loud stuff and the bright stuff and being packed in with people too, I don't really like that. So, but when I find like a little theater that I found near my house now, where I can actually walk up and turn the air conditioning all the way down to like 62, so I'm freezing in there all the time, I love it. So I've been going more and I do enjoy it. So I'm with you guys on that. I hope that whatever happens with this, Netflix, Warner Brothers, some way it can somehow mean that people get to make more good shit that we all love. That's our only hope that we can hope for, right?
Amen.
So that's
Amen. That's a good note to end on, Axel.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking part. And DVRpodcast.com. Check out Julian, Tower of Babel. Awesome show. We'll be back soon next time around the couch talking NFL, and Mayor of Kingstown's winding down. We'll do more shows though. Thanks for listening. I got to stop the YouTube. I forgot about that. We could be on here talking to Bubba for the next 4 hours. And
bye, Bubba.
All right. Thanks for the YouTubers too. Peace out, everyone.